sometimes subscribers like you send me their knives to sharpen. So let's have a look and see what I've got in the mailbag today. Oh, it's a folder. Oh, Spyderco. CPMS30V. She's a beauty. It's got a good action. It's a bit grungy. First, let's clean it up a bit. Bit of alcohol, some very fine steel wool, factory. Very exciting day today. I released the new Baz hybrid heavy duty Tormek knife jig holder handle thing. Beautiful, and you guys are snapping them up, so that's great. Edge is a little bit wonky, but generally in very good condition. Should be easy on the Blackstone silicon carbide wheel. So, made on earth, that's handy. So let's have a look. Grab the new jig. I put masking tape in here to sort of save from scratching the knives. Let's have a look. Let's go. Oh, it's got a taper. So it's thick there and thin there. So it might be a bit of a challenge to hold, but we'll do our best. Tighten that up. Yep, that feels good. All right. Now, because it's got a curve, what I tend to do is lift the heel up a bit and lift it and drop the tip down a bit so that it doesn't get too exaggerated with the difference in the angles, because if I was to try and get that flat like that, then the tip is too high. And if I try and focus on the tip, then the heel is too high. So what I'm focusing on is the belly, or the main cutting part, which is the top, like second quarter. And if the heel is a little bit high and the tip is a little bit high, it kind of evens out. So I'm going to measure right there. And I'm going to first of all colour in the bevel, so I can do a wheel drag on it and set the knife up at the angle that Spyderco wants. Doesn't matter what I want. So let's try that. It's a bit high. Getting there. That's the one. You can tell because it's much more quieter. Well, it's more quiet. And that's what we want right there. Right, and even, so that means that I'm going to be grinding exactly on that angle. So I wonder what it is. What do you think it's going to be? So I loosen this up. Now let me just measure. My wheel is getting very small. Where am I? I'm at 194. So I'm just going to drop that down a little tiny bit. I'm up to 475 knives on this wheel, and I've still got another 10 mil to go. So not bad. It's got a little bit of a wobble, and I've realized that it tends to get a wobble when I leave it in the water overnight. So don't do that. It seems to swell a bit. So let's have a look and see what angle. Exactly as we suspected. What do you think it's going to be? 20 on the nose. That's what we would have guessed, right? So now I'm going to set it to the fine setting, although it's fine already. I just want to triple check. Pull your sleeves up, do some work. Straight into it. Beautiful first pass. Check that out. Perfectly on the bevel. Nice. Let's give it another one. Beautiful. Beautiful. Try this side. Identical on this side as well, and that's the beauty of this centering jig, that even though this is quite a fat knife, well, that's a pretty fat knife, the fact that it's centering is it's split all the way up through the middle, so it's even half. Beautiful. So this is the first side. This is this was the first side, and this is the second side. So you can see how that bevel and the angle is exactly identical to the first side. Beautiful. Do one more pass on this side. Mag-bloody-nificent. I have a burr, but is it repaired? I think it's pretty nice. Just work this tip a little bit better. It's always good to underdo them first and then go in and repair them afterwards rather than over grinding. I undergrind and then I inspect. The silicon carbide wheel, the Blackstone SB250, is doing a fine job of grinding the CPMS30V, so no problems there. If you're thinking about getting a Blackstone, I'm ready to do a review. This is the end of my second wheel. I wanted to make sure that I was fully happy before I gave it a review, or a positive review. And I thought I was going to get more knives out of it than I was, but I think I'm expecting about 500 knives out of one wheel. So if you extrapolate that at, say, 20 bucks a knife, which is what I charge, sometimes a little bit more, then you can see that you get value out of it, even though these are quite expensive to start with at about $460. But let's just round it off at 500 bucks with shipping. $500 for 500 knives. I'm turning $1 into 20. Would you do that if that was an investment? I'm using the wood to lower the grains and get a smoother finish. I don't know why it works, but it does. Some people think I'm filling up the void or the gaps in the stone with wood, but I don't think so. I think the way that they manufacture these wheels is the grains are kind of loose inside the, is it substrate? Is that what word I'm looking for? You tell me. The stuff that they glue the grains with, and they move around and they manipulate, or you can manipulate them using the diamond plates, which, by the way, I haven't put up on the store, but I have in stock now. So I've got 20 pairs of these. If you want some, hit me up. And so that's why you can raise and lower the grains. That's my theory anyway. One more pass. I think we're done. What do you think of that? Is that a good grind? Would you be happy with that? It's not mirror, but it's pretty good. Okay. Well, that's that. Beautifully unharmed, unmarked. Let's do some testing with the burr on, just so you can see what the difference is after the honing wheel and then after the kangaroo tail. We use cigarette paper as a test. So this is straight off the wheel. You can see how it's a bit crunchy, but it's slicing. Not bad. And if we were to use a magazine test, you would see that that's pretty sharp. We can do better. I'm down to the nub. So the burr is on the top. You don't want to over hone, you just want to take that burr off. And these super steels, or the hard brittle steels, the burr comes off really easy. That's smooth to the nail. A little bit on the tip. That's all you have to do. I used to over hone like a madman when I first started, wondering why I wasn't getting a sharp. And the reason why I wasn't getting a sharp was that I wasn't apexing on the stone first. As you can see, if you apex correctly, even with the burr, it can be pretty sharp. That's beautiful. Let's test it. Obviously very sharp, but let's try it on the cigarette paper. Because not everyone's got a kangaroo tail. Not bad, catching a little bit. And that's what the kangaroo tail is going to take off. But that was pretty nice. That was a nice slice. First on the rough side, just a little bit. You can hear it on the ridges. That's enough. Then we'll go on to the suede side. No compound on the kangaroo tail. The kangaroo tails have got a very high level of silicate, which is, well, sand, right? So they've got their own abrasion. You don't need any compounds or anything on these kangaroo tails. They're very good. And if you can't get a hold of kangaroo tail, you can use buffalo or horse hide. So let's see if that made a difference. Needs a bit more work. Medium to light pressure. And yeah, I'm up on the apex because the apex is the only bit that I'm concerned about. I don't care about the bevels. So that's my thinking anyway. Let's have a look. Still a little bit catchy. Let's have a look. Beautiful. Magnificent. Very happy with that. Send that back to him. He'll be happy as a happy thing. Spyderco. Great job.